All right, there will be bourbon back with Larry Teakell. Now, he was first here a little more than 5 years ago, October 27th, 2020. One of the first dudes I ever had on whatever this thing is, whether it's a podcast or me just recording, talking to my homies. But you were here. You were one of the first, and I thank you for that, and I thank you again for reappearing. Clearly, not much better to do or nothing else to do, so I'm glad you're spending that time with me. And he's going to join us and talk about his new book, which, if you go back to October 27, 2020, he actually talked about what is in this book. But this is the book. This is From Fire to Forge, and it is a walk through the flames. It is about his story winning the Soldier's Medal while serving in Iraq. That is something we will obviously get into that. But obviously, before we do that, tonight, this discussion, at least for me, will always be fueled by bourbon. And I don't even know if I've already had it this year, but I just really wanted to drink something that was really, really good and easy to drink for this entire time. So I'm going back with the IW Harper 15 year. It is a Tennessee whiskey or bourbon, whichever you guys want to argue about. Tennessee whiskey is bourbon, or it's not. Depends on you. Um, I was going to do some Texas stuff. He's got Old Medley. There we go. Nice. That's a good label right there. You don't see that much.
Uh, I
Nice.
got a friend of mine gave this to me in Texagan. So,
Okay.
hey, buddy.
It's again, and yeah, I gotta bring that up. Let me make a note of that. Have you had any of that yet?
No, about to crack it open right now for a
Yes.
special occasion.
Yeah. No, Old Medley, another really old label, and it's really cool to see some of those old labels that are on the shelves if you can find them.
Yeah,
Anyway, so that's what we got going on. Anyway, Larry, welcome again. As I said, how are you doing? How are you? How is it?
I'm doing really good, man. I can't complain about anything. Um, the book is doing really well, and
Yeah.
the reviews are just making me tear up every once in a while.
Yeah, I
It's
gotta write.
crazy.
Remind me, I gotta write that. I'll write that tomorrow. That's my thing. Yeah. Read the book. Literally read it in the afternoon, man. I was just sitting out on my parents. I was down there in Thanksgiving or for Thanksgiving down in Tennessee. A little bit of a rainy day. So I was like, man, I'm heading out, grabbing some bourbon. I'm gonna just go sit it and finish this. Because I picked it up before a meeting I was gonna do, and I just read the first chapter, and I was like, oh shit, I gotta put this down. I'm about to be late for a meeting because I could read it completely in just one setting right there. It's super easy to get through. You're very direct, very blunt, straightforward. There's no like ambiguity to anything you're talking about. And I really respected that. And I wanted to thank you again for actually writing your story because, in my opinion, this is one of those things. Like while I was reading this is what I thought back to. I thought back to me in high school and in the high school library. And this is where I think this book belongs because there are so many times, at least in my life, and maybe not yours, or maybe it was yours. I don't know. Because, libraries attract people at different times. And when I was in high school, I was always like looking for stuff. I was always looking for like stuff, not necessarily about soldiers, but I always was kind of drawn to like individual stories, biographies,
Mhm.
obviously a lot of sports stuff when I was growing up. I remember the earliest one I ever read was about Babe Ruth. And then I remember reading some stuff about presidents in high school. But I just think something like this, where a dude can literally go in, you know, he can literally read this in a day.
Mhm.
And I thought like this is where, and I don't know how it is with trying to get books in places and all, but I would really encourage you if it's a possibility to try and get that into at least in Texas for sure, but try and get this into school libraries because man, if some dude can sit there and pick that book up, or even a female pick that book up and read about it, and just to see like who is still in this country, like dudes like you are still in this country, regardless of all the shit you went through prior to coming into the army and while you were in it. Never mind. Like
Yeah,
there's, it's just a crazy story, but it's always like sometimes, at least for me, I was like, man, Larry's definitely lived the army story. but, but I just feel like that's a great book for someone in this country, some young kid, young dude, whatever in this country to just pick up and read and to get motivated, maybe inspired because you know,
exactly.
I'll have you start bringing in some of your experiences on this, but like your path to the army was not traditional by any means. Like you,
Right.
and I'll let you tell that. So, okay, so you're where in Texas were you growing up at?
Waco.
Waco. All right. So you're in Waco, Texas. I know originally you went to school to do art, right? Like that was kind of
Yeah.
your, yeah,
Yeah. I got my degree in art, and
yeah,
and I was I was so excited because I feel like I'm a good artist, a good
Yeah.
draw. I can draw, I can paint, and I can, I had the advertising mindset where I could do the flow of the painting and everything to make it look like camera ready art. And I was doing like camera ready art, like ready to be taken a picture of
Hmm.
so they could put it in a magazine or something like that. I get out and I got this huge portfolio like
Yeah.
carry-on thing that's like flat. It's got all my artwork in it. I got all my pencil work, all my paintings, and all my ads that I've done in school. And I'm going all around all these places, in like Austin because that's where the big
Yeah,
art
that's right. Yeah.
mecca was.
Fucking hippies are.
And nobody would hire me. Every time I'd get in an interview, they would ask me if I could do it on the computer, and I was just like, "Well, they didn't teach us anything on the computer."
Yeah.
And that's that. As soon as I graduated, that's when like Corel Draw uh, came out, and then like all these drafting aid design techniques for making stickers and all this stuff. Everybody could do it on a computer. You didn't need really any artistic talent.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I can paint murals. And they're like, well, nobody's really painting murals these days. But when I was going through college, I did paint some murals in Waco, and I don't think any of them are still around, but I painted the largest gyro sandwich in Waco.
The largest hero sandwich. Nice. What
Yeah, because it was
inspired that?
Well, this guy, um, he had a blank wall, and it was down by Baylor, and I hang out by Baylor a lot. And I went into his sandwich shop, and I was like, "Hey, man, you know what? You know what would look really cool if I painted a mural on your wall and inside your building. Like I could paint a map of Lebanon, where you're from." And he was like, "Oh yeah, how much you charge?" I'm like, I don't know. I've never done this before, but I know I'm good at it." And he was like, "Okay, well, I'll pay you." I think it was like $300, something like that. And I painted this map of the Middle East on his wall.
This was
And I
before the
had like
army, right? This was
the
way before you did the army.
yeah,
That's
it was way
crazy.
before the and it was like I painted like the old school like ship uh north, south, east, west, like an old map, whatever.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah.
And I detailed the map, and I have a picture of it somewhere, but it was different colors, but all matched, and it was like in a scroll on each side, like it was rolled up.
Yeah,
And that was the wall. Like when you walked into a sandwich shop, that's what you saw was that huge map. And then on the outside, I did Joe's Mediterranean Specialties with this huge euros, and I made the meat pop, the bread pop, the lettuce and tomato. I use all these different techniques to make it shiny, you know,
yeah.
and like it was clear water on it and beads of little like water, like you fresh cut lettuce and tomatoes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Is it still there?
no, that building's
Ah,
gone now.
it's gone. The whole building's gone.
Yeah, the whole building's
What the
gone.
hell's
Yeah,
there now? Like a fucking Walmart
I
or?
don't know. I haven't been down that side of Waco in a long time.
That's crazy, man. Yeah, it's funny you bring that story up about just your art because my brother went to Savannah College of Art and Design and he majored in sequential art. So he was doing like storyboards and all that shit. And then,
Yeah,
yeah,
we did those too because they were like camera ready,
yeah,
or they were ready.
yeah,
You could do stuff like that with watercolor really fast and get the idea across, and then the director knows what
right.
to do.
How it's supposed to flow and everything.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was, man, you were just kind of at the cusp of just a shift in just the market, really. And we're kind of
yeah.
at that point again with the emergence of AI within just about everything now. Like
Oh my God,
it's not artists. Yeah.
is AI is the devil.
It very well could be. It very well could be. It's very interesting though when you bring that up because there's like there's a lot of there's a lot of scenarios and ways that people think it's going to go. So you're not wrong.
You can't trust what you see anymore. I
No.
mean, if you're
Yeah.
detailed oriented, you can see the AI
Yeah, you have to
because it's
look.
not
You
perfect.
have to actually,
It's
yeah,
not
you gotta,
perfect.
no, it's
But
not.
um, old boomer, if you get a flash in the pan and that's all you see, you think that President Trump is actually telling somebody something that he's not. And I'm speaking to my dad right now.
That's funny. Yeah, no, you're right with the AI thing. Literally, I just was seeing this Thanksgiving. So there's the city of Dayton, which is like the next city over or town or whatever the hell it's called, a city, I guess, from my parents. But they had like a Black Friday post about the turkey that was just pardoned was found dead in the road. Someone ran
Oh my
a
God.
traffic light and hit it. And there's a picture of the turkey laying on the crosswalk. And I glanced at it instantly and I looked at it. I told my dad, I'm like, look at this shit. I said it to him. And then like I zoomed in on the sign and it's supposed to be like customer parking, but it wasn't spelled that way at all. And I'm like,
Oh,
what the like it was a real picture. It didn't look like it was some CGI or AI. It just didn't look fake. But then once you paid attention, like you said, you start zooming in on stuff. You're like, oh, come on. This like why are we doing this?
mhm.
Why is the city of an official city account doing it? Like I get it. It's meant to be funny, but who's gonna fall for
that, that,
it?
that, that Franklin the turtle
Yeah.
uh, Hegseth meme thing that somebody did like a animated version of it. It's pretty
Oh,
cool.
really? What do you think about that guy anyway? What is your takes as an old school retired 20-year vet? What do you think of Secretary Hegseth?
Yeah. So I see him as being young,
You know?
naive. I applaud his spirit, and he wants to do the same things that I want to do, but I think sometimes he gets ahead of himself, and I think he needs to like slow down a little bit and think about what he's going to say. He needs to plan it all out. You know, it's called tact.
Do you think he has it planned out behind the scenes, but what he shows is what people gravitate towards?
I don't know him, so I
Right.
can't tell.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you're asking my opinion, I'm going to say have a little tact because they taught us that in the military.
Hmm.
Diplomacy and tact, it goes a long way. Um, being blunt sometimes is great when it's needed, but other times, I mean, like when I was in Iraq, I couldn't act however the hell I wanted to with these mullahs and these mayors, and I got trained on a certain way to do it, and that's what I
Hmm.
did. I followed my guidelines, and I talked to them how I was, taught, which is very respectful. Now, if I didn't get respect back, then I would go a different route. Like maybe I'd have to say something, to get the conversation moving again. But I would never like, listen to me, you motherfucker. This is the way it's going to be. No, I would never say anything.
Yeah, and I see where you're coming from. I think where you were talking about in terms of, you always give the respect, et cetera. And I think you see that when he's done official visits, like when he was in the Philippines, when he was over out west and all. Like those things are still very with the especially when he sat down with China. Those are still very professional and sitting. But I think the stuff that we see, whether it's on X or whatever it is with the media, I think he gives back in the same way Trump does. Like he gives the media back what they give
Yeah,
him,
I
And I think,
understand that. Yeah,
yeah,
I understand that too.
I think there's a time and place, right? Like, because you're right.
There's a time and place.
Sometimes you gotta, play the game, and then other times it's like we're not letting you control the narrative, and I think that's
Oh,
what he does a great job at.
oh, yeah, and ask me if I like the guy.
Yeah, do you like the guy?
I like the guy. So
I just love, and this is one of my favorite things, is that obviously you and I were not commissioned officers or whatever, but it's the same age, right? He's that you see that meme with one of us, like that's what you
yeah,
feel. It's like Larry, man, the guys that are our age or the guys that are slightly older, even slightly younger, we're the dudes now. And I was just talking with a coworker about this earlier, like jokingly, it's like terrible idea. Like some of my peers just as a joke, but at the same time, it's like it's great because it's like Man, we sat through some crazy fucking times. You expect like, dude, what did you do? 7 tours in Iraq?
I did three. I did
Okay,
3 tours in Iraq and then Bosnia and Macedonia.
that's right. Okay, because it's just like, man, so I just reading your time in Iraq, man. Like, I really want to get into that once, but dude, fucking, you were there like the worst time, like just fucking
Yeah.
brutal, man. And just, I mean, it's
2003 was like
yeah.
Wild Wild West, man.
Yeah, no, that's when I was there. I did '03 to '04, 16, almost 16 months. Yeah, it was just crazy. Well, I mean, it became less Wild Wild West once First Armor Division showed up and started trying to turn it into Garrison, and they made it like, I guess we're not leaving, and the dude whose name I say all the time on here, I just can't fucking stand. The guy that did, what was that fucking civilian guy's name? The one who just decided to disband all of like the Iraqi military, and he was the civilian in charge. I hate the man so much I've blocked his name, but now I have to look it
Yeah,
up.
I've already forgotten him.
Don't worry, I got it. It's right on the tip of my tongue. I'm gonna look. I got my quick Google machine. Paul Bremer. Hey, Paul Bremer, if you're still out there. He was the one. He was the one who basically turned that into a hey, we're done. We wrecked the Iraqi military. Let's get out. And he's like, nah, you know what? Let's hang out for the next decade plus and get a whole bunch
Yeah.
of soldiers killed and worse. So where are we at right now? I'm speeding all over the place. All right. So you did Waco, you did art, and now that's not really working out. You're at a shift just from a technological standpoint with the computers becoming the artist at this point. Um, what is like the no shit moment? Like I got to do something different. I'm gonna look at the army.
Oh, yeah. Well, I was working, so I couldn't find a job, and
Yeah.
I had a wife and kid, and we weren't having
How old
uh
were you then?
20,
20. Damn, man.
2021. Um, between 20 and 21, 22, I was already married with a child, my daughter Serena, and I was married for like 2 years, and then that fell apart, and I had to get a job, working like part time at a video store for HEB. Wasn't cutting it, and my dad said, "Well, they're hiring at the Comanche Peak Nuclear Power Plant," and I was like, "Okay." So I got a
Sounds
job with my
good.
dad, and we drove from Waco to Comanche Peak, uh, like once or twice a week. We stayed out there. We lived in a camper, and we'd work 712 sometimes. Sometimes we would work 410s, 510s, or 512s, and whatever was on the schedule. And we made good money. And I wasn't even thinking about joining the army. I was thinking about a career with Brown and Root,
Yeah.
you know. And they laid us off, which changes your perspective, because when you finish the job Brown and Root, they lay you off, but they also offer you jobs everywhere else they have. And then they said, "Hey, since you already have college, well, we'll pay you college if you go to TSDC and get like a degree and something that we can hire you back on.
Right.
Um, we'll pay for it." And I was like, "Okay, cool." I want to be a safety man. I want to be like the OSHA rep, OSHA guy. So I went to occupational safety and health at the same school I went to art for, and got my degree in that. And then I was 24, and I thought I was hot shit. And I'd written this really nice safety program on my own, with help from my teachers and everything. You had to write, your final grade was like, you had to write this huge safety program.
Mhm.
That was a generic safety program. And I got a really good grade, I got an A on it. And I was like, I took that with me as my example to all these different interviews, and no one would hire me.
What?
What? Yeah, because I was 24.
So it's
No
oh, that's funny.
experience, really young, and they always go for the guy that looks like me now.
I was gonna say, sounded like you would have been the guy to save them a lot of money because they could have just hired you and took advantage of your age and undercut you with the salary. But
Yeah. Well, that that led me into thinking I need to do something, because I'm about to get a divorce. I have to pay child support. I don't have a job.
yeah,
I was going, let me go into the military for 4 years and get my college money and then better myself. I can get get my bachelor's degree or my, you know, who knows what you can get in the military, right? So
Right.
I went in, I just knew what I wanted. I wanted to be a firefighter, like I said before, but um,
That job
in
is
the West,
that's the biggest unicorn job outside of military dog handler, man. Like when I was reading that, I was like, man, got him. It's
well,
like,
see, they're like, because I've seen them. But they got videos of the
yeah, oh,
MOS
they do.
for
It's
Army
there.
firefighters, but
Yeah, it's
they contracted it out to civilians. And the guy told me we're getting rid of the MOS. We're contracting that whole thing out to civilians. And I was like, okay, so what else you got? And they're like, well, I got combat medic. And I was like, oh, I've heard a lot of stories. My dad's talking about combat medics in Vietnam and stuff. And I was like, you know, he said I couldn't be an 11 Bravo and I get something that I can get a career in after I get out of the Army. So I chose combat medic.
yeah, no, it's great
Yeah,
MOS
I've
because it
never,
does give
it
you
was
that
never,
EMT background that you can just go get the license when you get out, and
it
then
was never, I didn't know anything about being a combat medic other than they were badasses on movies and in stories, you know.
yeah,
Um, so that I chose that and he didn't have a hard time signing me up and I just, I did it. But as soon as I got to the, as soon as I got there, as soon as I got like, I was a PFC because I had college and the Arrow of Light from the Boy Scouts. Um,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I got PFC and I was put in charge of a squad when I basically after like MEPS and then reception battalion and you meet your drill sergeants and then they're like, okay, this you're going to be third squad leader and these are your people. And then they get a student first sergeant or a student platoon sergeant, and then you get student first sergeant.
Mhm.
And I was a squad leader, had no idea what, and I just did it like it was like second nature, and I just loved it. And it was hard because we had females in
Yeah.
our unit, and I had like three females in my squad, and I was afraid that they were going to listen to me because nobody's acting like they're in the army right now. Yeah.
So you
So
were 24 when you came?
25.
25. Okay, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And then after going through basic training and listening to my drill sergeants and having that, like I talk about in the book, it's like to talk about fear and discipline all the time. When I hear somebody talk about fear and discipline, I didn't fear anybody. I
Right.
didn't fear my drill sergeants.
Right.
I feared not doing what they wanted me to do. I
Right.
feared not doing it right. I
Feel the
feared
failure.
not being able to do a great job or
Yeah.
winning the whatever achievement. That's what I feared.
Yeah.
And I took that to heart. And my drill sergeant told me one day while we were out in the field problem, he said, you're gonna make a great NCO one day. I just know it. And I took that to heart. I thought he could have been bullshitting me. I don't know.
Hey, nothing wrong with
But
positive psychology, man. Whatever.
yeah, that stuck with me all through my entire career was
It
that
is
that
cool.
moment when he kind of like took his hat off. We
Yeah.
were sitting there. We had set up a hasty ambush, and we had machine gun, and we were going to fire rounds at the guys, and not live rounds, but um,
Yeah.
and that was good because we just sat there and we kind of like bullshit about the army,
Yeah.
and I realized that it's theater,
Oh yeah.
but it's for a good reason.
Yeah.
And once you get
It's a
to your real
game.
unit, that's when the army starts.
Yeah. Do you remember his
Yeah.
name?
Drill Sergeant Vitale.
Drill Sergeant Vitale. Yeah, mine was Drill Sergeant Morales. So like I always tell the story, there was two people I always wanted to be. One was a drill sergeant because of Drill Sergeant Morales, and one was a first sergeant because of my first sergeant in my basic training, First Sergeant Santos. Little short,
Yeah.
angry Filipino dude, angriest dude ever, but he was also the coolest. Like he was so hard, but at the same time, like he was so positive, and I always was like, that was what I always wanted to be. Like I never was like, oh, I want to be an officer or any of that shit. Even after I got all these degrees and all, like I never wanted to go
Right.
command. I always wanted to be one of those dudes who was driving the soldiers, driving the unit. Like that was
Yeah.
what drew me to me. And like you said with Drill Sergeant Morales, like. I'll still remember this Private Gomes. Don't know what he ended up at. Don't know what he became, but I remember Drosar Morales was like, there were because he was an infantry guy. He was an 82nd infantry dude, and he was like, there are two soldiers that I would love to have in my squad if I'm ever in combat. One is Private Ski, and that was me. I was like, oh, that's cool. And then the other, this fucking guy, Private Gomes. That man is a killer. And I was like, oh man, I wish I was a killer. Like, am I not a killer? Like, but I was, but it was weird because Gomes, Gomes was like and I hope he's somewhere out there and hears this because Gomes was from Rhode Island. He was an Italian from Rhode Island. He was like the stereotypical Northern Italian, and he was a close talker. Like he would follow you around and like he'd tap you on it. Like he's like he'd follow you everywhere you were going and be like talking to you like bro, all right. But that was Gomes. But when it was time to do soldier shit, Gomes was like he was a fucking like
Yeah.
he was a dude. He
I had
was,
a guy like that too. His name was Tidwell. Tidwell. I
that's
don't
a
know
good
that name.
that's a good name. There's a lot of Tidwells in the history of the army. That name just jumps out. What do you? I
I
just
can't I can't remember her name, but this female that was in my squad, um, she ended up in Germany with me, and she was a driver, like a Woman 3 driver for like the sustainment brigade,
oh shit.
who was like part of us. So
Did you ever
that
run
was
into
kind of
any of
cool.
your yeah? Did you ever run into any of your drill sergeants or cadre or anybody later in
Yeah,
army
I
life?
ran into a drill sergeant. I can't remember his name, but I ran into him in the commissary at Fort Lewis. And this guy was like this hard charging guy. It looked like had a spot, like a dip in his mouth all the time, but it wasn't a dip. It was just a lip. And he walked like he was bow legged and he kind of like was a knuckle dragger, like for real. And I saw him walking and I'll never forget that walk. And I was like, Tristan, what's that? How you doing?
Oh, we're fucking friends now. All right, sweet.
And then it was like two guys talking, at the meat market,
Yeah, yeah. That's
We
cool.
get the hamburger over there. Hey, yeah, that's pretty good stuff.
I ran into one of the drill sergeants I had, Drill Sergeant Johnson. She was a first sergeant in Italy. I was doing AT in Italy. Ran into her at PX. Um, Drill Sergeant Hundley, he was an E8 when I ran into him. This was when I was a drill sergeant out at Fort Lewis doing LDAC. We had a 6 week cycle break, so they sent us out to be Op 4, and he was the whoever the I guess the NCOIC of ROTC at the University of Texas in Austin. And he was out there, and I was like, holy shit, it's fucking Drill Sergeant Hundley. So that was cool to see him. Um, and then he
I
was one
think
of my,
they secretly like us coming up to them and
oh, for sure. Yeah.
telling them about how they were the inspiration and all that shit.
Yeah. Well, I didn't tell Hundley that because he was one of my company drill sergeants. He wasn't one of mine. I remember he was third platoon. I was second. But I remember I really liked him because he was just like he was the guy that actually did the whole like came on because he was the senior drill. He was the one
Mm.
that came on the bus. He gave his little speech, and I always remember he was like, "Now get the fuck off my bus." He was from Texas. He was like, "Get the fuck off my bus." I remember that. Like, and that's what him and I actually
Mm.
joked about. I was like, "Man, I'll never forget when you were like, get the fuck off my bus." Like, that was great. And then one of my drill sergeant leaders in drill sergeant school, Sergeant Farmer, I didn't actually see him, but I saw his picture on the wall. He was like an EO rep over in Kuwait at Arif John. I was like, oh shit, it's Rosar Farmer. And I never could find it. He was never in the office when I would stop by. So shocking, right?
I
He
can't
was
remember. I
there.
can't remember who it was. I can't remember who it was, but when I was an instructor at Fort Sill, all the drill sergeants they had a new group of drill sergeants to come in, and you get to meet them and stuff. And it was one of the dudes I went to Iraq with. I can't remember his name, but he was always sharpening his knife in the back,
That's-
and I'd always give him shit about it.
yeah, the army's tiny, man. Like once you start thinking about all these people you've crossed paths with or you see them again, it's fucking wild. The only people I've never ran into anybody who I was in basic training with or AIT or any of that. I always ran into like cadre or drill sergeants or other shit. Never. Never really ran in. Yeah, I've never ran into anybody. Well, that's not true. So one of the guys in drill sergeant school, I did run into him in. I ran into him actually in Afghanistan. That was weird.
Mm.
And then again a few years later at Fort Hood, or not Fort Hood, Fort Knox. But yeah, and this dude, he was cool as shit. I'm trying to remember his name. Began with an A. Anyway, he was before he joined the army. He joined late. He was older than you when he joined. I think he was almost 30. Allen, Sergeant Allen. But he was a firefighter on 9/11 in New York City, and he's got a picture
Mm.
of him holding the flag with President Bush when he came. It's not a very
Nice.
published photo, but he's got his own photo of it. And I was like, holy shit. Yeah, I ran into him in Afghanistan. That was wild. Like I have ran into people in weird places across this world.
It's a small world.
It
It
is,
really
man.
is.
It is. The army's tiny. The army is tiny for as many people as we have. All right. You're in the army, and this is one of the coolest things. You may have already told this story, but it's not in the book, I don't think. But I am curious because you joined. Was it 95 you joined?
Yeah.
Where were you, and what the hell was your 9/11 experience?
Oh, I was in Camp Humphreys, Korea. It's in the
Okay.
book, I think.
Is
Yeah.
it? Okay.
It's I was drunk. Um, I was
That's
laying on my
checked out.
couch and I was passed out, and then I'd been playing Parasite Eve 2,
That was a good game, man.
and because like when the game stops and it's been on for long, it cuts off,
Yeah.
and the Korean TV comes on, and when the Korean TV came on, everybody was yelling and stuff, and I woke up and saw the thing. I switched it to AFN, and my phone started ringing, and they're like, "You got to come in. The base is on lockdown. They're bringing all the Joes in." And I was like, "Oh shit! What the fuck? Holy shit!" And I sobered up real quick. Um, got on base, and then we were just stuck to the TV.
What was I guess that I mean that's pretty standard, I guess, from just the different guys who were in at the time doing that. But I'm curious because of your location. Did you did you get a chance to notice or what was like the reaction from the Korean people? Like did you get a feel for that at all? Did you
I don't think that they actually knew what was going on until because nobody really understood what was going on at the time.
Right.
So you're you got your mind's just racing. But the Koreans, like after that, we soaked it all in, and the next day was like where they were really like sorry that it happened and were with us.
Yeah.
You know, especially like the Katusas
The rock
and
guys and all, yeah.
yeah, all the rock guys. They and everybody on base. Everybody was just like saddened, hearts are saddened, and we just got to keep moving forward.
Did you think you would have any involvement being over in Korea, knowing what your guys' mission is supposed to be?
Well, so when we were there,
Because I guess
Korea,
you
like
are kind of close when you think about it, but
we, yeah, because I mean, people could go. I didn't have any worry about doing anything because I was running an aid station, and I was like only one of two guys that rotated running an aid. Well, it wasn't an aid station; it was the emergency room, the Camp Humphreys clinic, and we were pretty like important. Now the Joes could be sliced off
yeah,
and sent off to other units, but we didn't really we didn't have a care about that right at the moment. We were just doing our jobs and like trying to deal with what had just happened, and um, but we got through it. And then I get sent to Fort Lewis afterwards, and I get inducted into the Striker Brigade for 123 Infantry,
you guys
where
get
I
to
stayed for like
debut.
I was there for like 7 years.
You get to debut the striker in Iraq.
Yeah, we did that too. And when we trained up on those German ones with the four wheels, I don't know
Oh,
I
okay.
forgot what they're called,
Oh shit.
but we did a lot of training, a lot of like notional training until we got our vehicles, and we finally got our vehicles, and we were just like, wow, this is really cool, man. this vehicle's awesome. I'm signed for this whole thing. Awesome.
So did you actually like those?
Yeah, I did.
Did you?
I liked my variant. Now,
Oh, what was your,
everybody else is
yeah, what
kind
was
of
your
crap,
variant?
but my striker variant was had a lot of room. I could stand up and treat four casualties at the same
Oh,
time.
oh shit.
Yeah, and it had four berths, and are motorized. And then you put one in and raise it up, and then you could put another underneath there.
Oh, wow.
And then it had all the hookups for like all your if you want to do an EKG type lead and keep a pulse on them and check it like however much you wanted to, you could do that. And we had those, I forgot what they're called. They're just little mounted pulse ox. Not a pulse ox like a small one, but it had like a three lead EKG and a pulse oximeter on it, and it would monitor anything you wanted to monitor. And those were cool, but I never used them in combat. I just had to sign for it and then keep up with it.
So were those integrated in the patrols with the guys going out and the normal strikers?
Say, what was that?
Were you guys integrated with those inside normal patrols with the regular strikers?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So the like when you're in Iraq and you have a vehicle, say my vehicle was the HAC vehicle.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I was with the first sergeant and the commander.
Okay.
Wherever they were, that's where I was. Unless another platoon was on QRF. So the QRF mission was always on, and it was we rotated out crews because the vehicle had to go no matter what.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah. So I had me and this other guy, we rotated out. And
Crazy,
but
man.
yeah, well, if they wanted to take you on a patrol, then all they just said, "Come on, hey, Doc, you're going too." And
Yeah,
I go,
because
"All right."
I remember like reading a lot of that in your book about how you were really drawn to that, just doing the infantry stuff with the guys, but
Yeah.
primarily you're a medic. So I was just, what was your relationship with those guys? Was it always more of like friendly, jovial, adversarial, or you're just like, oh, this dude's just a medic, or was it like you were part of the team?
Well, when I got there, I was E5 already, so I was pretty much like I was a squad leader. I was a leadership position, so I was always in the Cubs and Bubs. Um, but before that, I was always well, I'll be shooter first, and then I'll become a medic when something happens. You
Right.
know,
Okay.
I try to instill that in my guys. Some of them didn't like that. They were like, "We're medics. We don't have to do that." I'm like, "Oh, you're a dick too." So I guess
What
it's
was
do your
doctrine?
job.
What was doctrine? What were they teaching you in the schoolhouse
What do you mean?
in
Like
terms of
as a
like
medic?
being a shooter first or a medic first? Like, because you obviously had a different mentality than what your soldiers were coming with. So,
So I mean, they would teach us an aggressive style.
okay.
So I just carried that. I just carried because when you're in infantry or you're in the cav, they really want you to be one of them.
Right.
So to
Yeah,
be
force
more
multiplier,
accepted,
of course, right?
you just I like shooting too.
I bet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Texas guy likes
Um,
shocking.
Now what we didn't later on I learned some of this stuff, but like we didn't like learn all the infantry tactics.
Right.
Um, Now we were told like, okay, now we're setting up a tactical control point. We call them TCPs.
Mhm.
You're going to be searching for weapons. Okay. And you just did it.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
like you
And
know enough
then,
to be dangerous. Like you can learn all that shit. It's not
yeah.
fucking rocket science.
And it's not rocket science.
It's
And,
rocket surgery.
but then you got some people that are like, they understood when you're like, yeah, it doesn't make sense for me to be there. If something happens, I need to be back here
Right.
so
Yeah.
I can
I
treat
get
them.
that. Yeah.
If the medic goes down first, then all you have is some CLS guy.
CLS or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm curious, like, so what were the year, like, I know you said '03. What were the other years that you were in Iraq?
2006 to 7, and then 2009 to 2010.
Okay, so that's the curious one. So I went through drill sergeant school in 2008, and our CLS training, the very first block of it was doing an IV. starting an IV. And I was
Yeah,
horrible. I had shaky hands, right? So it took me 4 times to get my buddy, and my buddy was great because he was an infantry guy, and he's like, "It's okay, battle, you got to learn." And he didn't mind getting me
yeah,
making bloody marks all over him. But I was curious because I remember reading as time went on, like the goal at the time was get as many people qualified to start an IV because of, tactical treatment on the ground before medevacs come or whatever. But that slowly went away because people like myself, I'm guessing, who were not great at doing this and just did it one time, had to find themselves doing it for real, and they were losing more soldiers than they were actually saving. Did you see that shift? Was it during that time in 09, 010, or did that come later? Because there was too many people who were technically, quote, trained, like myself, right? I did it once in drill sergeant school, and I was like, "Yeah, hey, you're qualified to start an IV." Probably not the guy you want doing it. I'm just going to be honest. So,
yeah.
did you see that at all? Did that change come around while you were there, or when did that?
And I was on a like really different mission in 2009.
Okay.
Um,
Oh yeah, you were doing
and
that crazy shit, right? With the
I was living with the
team.
Iraqis, dude. I
Yeah.
was 10 man mid team. I
Yeah.
was
That's
the
pretty
only
wild, man.
medical personnel there for the other 9 guys, and I had telemed resources. Like I could talk to a surgeon in San Antonio, like
Oh shit.
as long as he was like
Awake.
was awake.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I never had to use that. Um, but like the only time I did have to treat them was when the bomb went off in the street with the
Yeah.
C4 ball bearings, and then it was overpressure
The
injuries.
eardrums. Yeah,
Yeah,
the
his eardrums.
which you were excited about. I know. I remember reading. You were
Yeah,
happy to
yeah,
run through all that. So good.
yeah.
What do you think?
But
Now,
I love
But
those 2 guys. Those 2 guys, they're awesome.
I know. I'm with you, man. I'm just curious. So you were talking about living with the Iraqis and all. What was that like for you, given what's in the news lately? Just the shit with a lot of Afghans coming over here that were unvetted. Just a lot of just different stories coming out from people's time in Afghanistan. What was your experience like living with the Iraqis?
So we trained every day.
Mhm.
I trained them on like my version of CLS, which was like an aggressive combat medic.
Yeah.
I didn't teach them how to. I didn't really like focus on IVs because if they could stabilize the patient and get him back to the rear, then that's where the surgeon or the doctor can put the IV in.
Right.
I focused on like fixing the wound, like stopping the bleeding, packing the wound packing, and tertiary wounds, and then packing those and putting on a pressure dressing or a tourniquet if needed. And I taught them, when what to look for when put a tourniquet on. Um, but always start with the pressure dressing because if you put a tourniquet on, you don't really need it. Once you're wasting time stressing about it, and you may do some crush injuries that may feel bad about later. But then the whole tourniquet on
On
everything came
everything, yeah.
about,
Because when I was in
and I was like,
Afghanistan, 2013, that's what it was. Tourniquet everything.
yeah, I didn't like agree with that. I was always the you put a pressure dressing on first and then see
Mhm.
because you're saving steps. Now, if it doesn't stop bleeding, like after you apply pressure, then you need to put a tourniquet on. It's easy.
What was the
So,
response for that with the tourniquet on everything? Was it just because there's just too many casualties losing limbs or what?
well, it was it's the quickest way to stop the bleed,
Right.
and it could a pressure dressing could have worked.
Right.
The tourniquet's still going to work,
Yeah.
but it's just when you're a medic, you know certain things, you know what to look for, and you're teaching CLS guys just to put on a tourniquet. And then back in 2009, people were getting those uniforms with the tourniquets already built into them. I thought that was silly, um, but I would have not known or remembered that you had a tourniquet inside your uniform sleeve
Yeah. What if you're not wearing
uh,
that uniform? So what if
because I'm pulling one out of my own
right.
bag and I'm going to apply it to you.
Yeah. Yeah, that's So did you ever have any times, I know you said you were training all the time, but did you ever have any issues where you were concerned for your safety or your other soldiers'
Oh
safety?
man, I've since 2003 when the the fucking interpreter killed, like, got all the other interpreters killed. And I slept with my nine by my side under my
Yeah.
pillow because I thought that dude was gonna like sneak in and like kill us and shit. Right? That never left me. I've never trusted any Iraqi.
Mhm.
I've loved them, and I've
Oh yeah.
thought they were my friend. But did I trust them? No. I had one single thought is that I'll like you and I'll be your friend, but as soon as I get the indication that I'm gonna have to kill you, I will.
Yeah. Well, and they have the exact same, if that, if they
Yeah,
even that first part. But no, you're right though, man. And it's like, unfortunately, seeing what just happened to these two National Guard soldiers here in DC, and
I know it's fucking that's terrible.
it is, but it's also like I started going back to just my time in Afghanistan and Kabul, right? And we had all
Hmm.
these guard towers around the perimeter, and all these towers were manned by A&A.
Hmm.
And you if you were walking the perimeter or you're running, doing your little PT or whatever, I just remember going out the first night and I didn't know any better. I was just like, I guess I can go out and run this perimeter, a little L-shaped perimeter. It's two-thirds of a mile around, nothing. You just go do a few laps, get a few miles in. And I remember just like the first time, I'm like, there's no Americans or NATO or there's no partner forces in any of these towers. There's 13, 14 towers around this perimeter, and they're all A&A. Like if they want to just fucking start shooting us at any time,
Right. And
and these
you
things
know
were
why they
obviously
do
going
that too
on.
is because they've kidnapped their son or daughter, and they're
Yeah,
like, if you don't kill an
exactly.
American,
Right.
we're gonna kill your daughter.
Hmm.
When that daughter dies anyway, and so does that guy.
Yeah. It just,
But that's how they get you, man. That
yeah. And I was younger and just dumber. Like I was, whatever. I'm fucking doing army shit. Like, but now, like in hindsight, you look back on that, it's like, man, this is fucking reckless because
yeah,
it's avoidable. Like, and fortunately, that never happened on our compound. But I mean, this was 2013. 2012 was like the year of the fucking green on blue attacks, man. Like, it was going on after I left as well, as when that the major general was killed in one of these things. Like,
yeah. I got
crazy,
nervous
crazy fucking times, man.
when we shifted to Diyala Police Department from the Iraqi Army. Then we moved to Fob Warhorse, where we kind of just we lived our own little 10-man lives, and we
Mhm.
went every day to the Diyala Police Department and taught them stuff. And I was the colonel's PSD, so every time he would go talk to the colonel or the general, I was with him, you know.
Mhm.
And he's like, "I want you to be my PSD because if something shit goes down, I want you. You're going to be the guy that either shoots or treats me."
Yeah. Yes. It
And I
worked.
took that to heart. I'm like, hell yeah, sir. And if it goes down, it's me and you. We're fighting, and then I'll treat you as much as I can, but we're gonna be fighting.
Yeah, I mean, that's
And then those guys that were not the actual police, they were like the special police force. They wore the tan, uh, I guess it was like our old clothes, pretty much. But and they had like maroon berets and stuff, and they wore like the 13 pieces of flare. It's like some of them had like three or four pairs of goggles, and they had them all like different places. And um, of course, all all the cool guys had one of these.
what do you get? Yeah, seatbelt cutter. Hell yeah. That's the new thing. That's the new hotness. Hey, I like that. I like that. Is that the Wrath of the Wendigo? Is that the Claymore?
Yeah,
Yeah, I got one of
yeah.
those. Yeah, that's pretty sweet. I think what you're describing though, like I want people to try to distinguish between this because a lot of people just assume, you're always on the offensive or you're doing direct action all the time or all that stuff. And like that's not the reality for most in country. Like most are experiencing what you just described. Like you're hoping something shitty doesn't happen. And
Yeah.
that's a horrible fucking feeling to go through day to day. Like it's not like, oh, I only felt that way once. Like, no, it's literally every day until you get out of that fucking place. And even then you're like, am I really home? Am I good? Am I finally fucking good? I don't got to worry about this shit anymore.
See, and then you don't.
Right.
So when I came home, Then my lieutenant gets shot in the throat.
That's
I
fucking
mean,
like that,
by
dude. Your
some
fucking
asshole.
story, like I was reading that part, and I don't know if you've ever told me that part before, and I just didn't remember. But I just remember I was reading that. I'm like, fucking Larry has just been through some of the craziest fucking shit, all because he's at Fort Hood all the time. Like
Yeah,
that fucking base has seen some crazy shit, man.
I know.
And
And
your
that,
lieutenant, that's like that for real though, dude. That's fucking wild. Like the odds of what you
and,
described, like you get the soldier's medal, which we'll get into next, but then your LT, he ends up getting like there's 0 fucking % chance of that happening ever in the history of the fucking military, and you did it.
I know.
Right? Like
Well,
that's
I didn't.
you didn't do it, but I
It
mean
was
you're a part of that story. That's wild.
that part of the story, but I wasn't like part of the
Yeah,
action.
that's crazy, man. Man,
Yeah, we just like said we're calling it a day at the motor pool, and
yeah,
he's like, "I got to go to this meeting." I'm like, "Okay, you go to the meeting because
fucking
it's not
nuts.
for me,
Yeah,
it's for
not for me,
you."
man. Sorry. Oh, go do your oh shit. I'm going home.
Yeah, and that's what I was doing. And then I pulled over on the side of the road because my first sergeant was blowing my phone up.
That's nuts, man. That's nuts.
That first sergeant that is part of that story
Yep.
is retiring December 6th at Fort Sam Houston, and she's a sergeant major now. Well, she's been a sergeant major for a while, but she's retiring, and I'm probably going to go see her retire. I hope I can make it.
Curious what her name is by chance.
What do you think it is?
Was she ever the sergeant major for recruiting command?
I don't think so. She was in Hawaii for a while.
Okay, because no, when I
Christy,
was
Christy Kortner,
no, it's
Kortner.
not. No, it's not her. Because no, there was a female sergeant major who came in when they were really just trying to change the culture of recruiting command. And this was late 2018, 2019, maybe 2019 for sure. I think she got there in 2018. But she came from medical, had no recruiting background or whatever, but she was a medical. That was her background. And everyone was like,
It's possible.
actually, and it wasn't medic. She was like a dental specialist.
Oh no.
Yeah. So I can't remember her name, but I can just remember her antics and the stuff she did. And like it was probably a welcomed change at the moment, but wasn't what recruiting command needed.
Yeah,
And
Sergeant Major Kortner is a Florida gal, so she's a tough cookie.
yeah, no, that wasn't her. No, that's that. Yeah, that reading that is just, and that's crazy. And then the shit that he went through, like I'm glad he
No,
survived more than anything.
yeah, he did
That's
more than survive. He thrived. He does talking, public speaking stuff all the time.
good.
You can check him out on
Yeah, I was gonna ask
Instagram.
if he's on if he's in our hell site somewhere running around.
He's not on our health site.
Uh,
He's a pastor
oh, okay, damn.
up in like towards Fort Worth,
Okay.
um, John Arroyo, and
Write that name down, John.
it's he's got like he has a book out too, and he's just doing great things. You know, he's all about the Lord and stuff, and that's great.
Awesome.
And I'm really proud of him for how much he accomplished after getting almost killed
Yeah, that's nuts,
in
man.
a parking lot on Fort Hood.
Fucking that's just nuts. It's a crazy story. Glad he pulled through and is doing as well as he is. Um, all right, let's get into Iraq. You're in the smoke pit.
Hey, I'm gonna have some whiskey in my Texageddon mug.
Yeah, the text again is another thing. I got to get down to. When do you do this? When is text again? What month is that?
Texageddon's middle of October
I am it. All right, I got to try and get down there this year.
this year.
Yeah, try.
2026 is going to be the 16th through the 19th.
All right. I'd
We'll
like when I was,
put a pin in that.
yeah, I would put a pin on that. I would be cool, man. It'd be cool as shit. But my thing is that like, I just need to figure out how long because I don't want to fly there, man. I want to drive. I like driving too much.
People drove from Montana this year,
I know
man.
I'm in Virginia, so I'm just curious how long that drive would be. Okay, what part of Texas are you? Like in terms of the
Central
state,
Texas,
central.
Central Texas, Mount Calm, Texas is where Texageddon is.
Okay. How many
I
people?
live in Woodway, which is right next to Waco.
How many people do you guys have there this year?
I think it was close to 100. It was
That's great.
70. it was 70. I have 70 forms filled out.
Okay. And then more showed up.
Uh, yeah, but there was more people that showed up because like the kids and the daughters and the sons and
Yeah.
um, I didn't like make if you came with three people only you had to just sign the document, but I didn't make you pay. Like it's $60 cover, but it's like I was doing like the car.
Yeah.
But next year it's going to be different. Next year it's going to be invite only.
People figured out the
Um,
hack.
yeah,
Do you got to run medic operations while you're there? Are you on
I
duty full
do.
time? Yeah. I bet.
I do.
I bet.
Um,
I bet.
there's me. There's a couple of other guys that are medics and have worked as EMTs and stuff like that. And there's one guy that's like a nurse or like a combat nurse,
Yeah.
and I trust those guys. I trust those guys to. I give them like the lowdown, and
Lay it
we
on.
have we have like what's that called, Starlink.
Yeah, oh, that's cool. Cool.
My buddy has Starlink. He sets it up, and so you don't have to use your minutes or whatever. But we have internet access out there, and the phones work really good. I can call 911 and meet them at my gate. Um, if it's something that I think that I will get them to Hillsboro faster in my vehicle, then I'm going to do it.
Yeah. Dedicated
And
medic. Love it.
I'll be
Nice.
riding with them, putting pressure on an accidental gunshot wound. Um, but luckily, I'm knock on wood here.
No issues. Yeah.
Yeah, no issues so far. We have um, scope bites. So
Which bites?
scope bites.
What the fuck are scopes? What are those?
Scopes. Scope.
Oh, a scope bite. I thought you. Hey, that's their fault. Damn, what do you got on that thing? A fucking telescope?
It's an Arkin 3D viewer for the future.
What the fuck? You could probably see the future in that thing.
Oh,
Holy
you
shit.
can. You
What
can.
the
This is like the top of the lines
my goodness.
sniper scope. Yeah. And all thanks to my friend Jim, who
That's
built this
crazy.
AR-10 for me,
Yeah, I was
by
gonna
the
say
way.
that's gotta be on a 10, something like that, man. My
Yeah.
goodness. I bet you don't feel anything when you pull that trigger.
No, but you hear it.
Yeah, oh, I know you hear it.
No, you hear it and feel it.
Yeah. That's crazy, man.
Loud.
What's the range on that bad boy?
Oh, fuck. I don't know.
Sounds like a trick to go find
What's
out.
800 meters and 900 meters?
That's nuts.
I mean, if I get good at long range shooting, I could probably get a mile like somebody else, you know.
He just look, Braxton makes shit up. He puts sound over the video to make it looks like he's hitting with fucking.
How'd you know I was talking about Braxton?
Everybody knows you're talking about Braxton. I know that shit. He's probably really doing it, but I just like to make fun of his. I'm like, okay, bro, we get it. You put a little sound over your video to make it look like you hit something. Nobody can see that you hit it. You're a mile away. I'm just kidding. He probably
Yeah.
did. He's probably way better at shooting than you and I. So
Yeah. He can do it with like a Navy Colt too.
yeah. I just
Black
was
powder.
I was at my parents', me and my dad were out shooting shooting this thing. This guy right here. Um, and I'll be
Ah,
honest, like still to this day, I do not by any means pretend to be a good shot with a pistol, not compared to a rifle. But my dad's really good. He doesn't really shoot that much, but he's obviously well trained on handgun as opposed to me with his background. And I'm just like, man, I suck. Like I can hit the target, but I'm still not 100% sure where that fucking thing's going. And I don't get it. I'm trying to apply like rifle and it doesn't work. It's just not the same. I don't know.
you
It's just
can't. Yeah. So that basic rifle marksmanship
yeah, it's not the
that
same.
they taught us in the military. When the asymmetric warfare group came down and trained us at Fort Sill, I was like, this is the way I'm going to be firing my weapon from now on.
Mm.
Natural point of aim, trigger squeeze, breathing, and you can set your mag on the ground and use it as stability.
Remember
What?
that? I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That natural point of aim, though, that shit works, man. And breathing control, trigger squeeze, all that works when you put it all together like it's supposed to.
A rifle, yes. Me with the handgun, not so much. I'm just
Oh,
saying.
now
Yeah, I need to get.
Joel's block of instruction at Whirlwind Tactical. He comes like two weeks after Texageddon, and he puts on uh, a 2-day course at Texageddon.
Oh, does he? That's cool.
Yeah, it's not called Texageddon. It's just called Whirlwind Tactical at Larry's place.
I'll just go there and try and drink as much water as possible. Get the water hydration trophy. That'd be cool.
Yeah,
All right,
we
man.
have, we have, we have a great time.
We're in Iraq. You're in the smoke pit. What happens next?
The smoke pit. What are you talking about?
When you with Heredia, you're in a smoke.
Oh
You're
shit!
smoking. Well, I don't know if you're in a smoke pit, but you were having a cigarette, I
No,
guess.
I was. Yeah, well, it was like we have 24-hour duties there, so each NCO pulls 12-hour shift, and I was off. I was getting off my 12-hour shift, and it was during the day.
Oh
And
shit! So you've been up all night.
yeah, I take my smoking. I took my smoking seriously back then,
As one should.
and uh, so I was going to have a cigarette, and then when I walk across the little sidewalk to the smoking area from my aid station, you don't have to have your top on. So I didn't have my top on my hat or nothing because I was smoking in the smoking area,
Might have
whatever.
changed things for you, huh?
And that's when I saw the smoke. And then, see, I'm not going to get choked up on this because I've been telling this story for a long time now.
Yeah.
So I saw smoke, and I just, I thought the barracks was on fire again because stupid people don't know how to operate their air conditioners or their electrical outlets. Plus, the Iraqi electrical
Not
system
very
is
good. Yeah.
wonky
Yeah, a little
at
wonky.
best. So it
Yeah.
happens a lot. Little fires happen a lot. People put them out with fire extinguishers, and they would go about their business. Well, the generator that she was fueling didn't have the static discharge plate was turned off, and it blew up. She caused a charge to explode all the fuel onto her.
Man.
So I'm running because I hear her screaming, and I'm running toward her, yelling at everybody to get me a fire extinguisher, get me a blanket, all that stuff. And she comes out of the fire, man, totally engulfed in flames from her knees to her face. And there was somebody standing there. I think I grabbed his BDU top and I started to smash the flames out. When that stuff started melting, um, her uniform was melting because she wasn't wearing the proper uniform. And so everything was melting. Because a non-retardant uniform, what
Right.
takes a little bit to burn. And I think it would have saved her life even more if she'd had the proper uniform on. But anyway, here we are. We're melting, and I'm smashing the flames out. The guy comes up with the fire extinguisher, and he tries to use it. It doesn't work. So that just pissed me off, and I just smashed the flames harder with my bare hands, forearms, body, whatever I had, and just smashed them out. And once the fire went out, then I picked her up. Well, actually, I didn't pick her up. I made her get up on her own
Yeah,
because her knees from her feet were still working.
it's a crazy story, man.
And I just remember telling her to get up in my NCO voice. I said, "Get up. You're not dying in Iraq," because she was screaming at me, "Just let me die. Just let me die." And I was like, "No, you're not going to die. Not here. Not in fucking Iraq. Get up." And she got up. And then I put my arms underneath her arms and I held her up as she walked because her body was burned. I didn't want to carry her and tear all of her flesh off. So I just went the easy route with just my forearm. So I carried her into the aid station and kind of gingerly handed her off to the guys who were waiting there. And then when that happened, it's like all my flesh and all of her flesh were kind of intermingled onto my hands and forearms. And my buddy Bradley, who wrote the afterward, he was the one that treated me. And he was like, he's trying to pull me off because I'm still trying to treat her and stuff. We got to get an airway. We got to do this. We got to do that. And then everybody's like, calm down, step away. We got this. You're injured. And then I was like, oh, okay. I looked down and I was like, holy shit, fuck. And so he took me and cleaned me up and put some medicine on me, some silver cream and some bandages. And then it was the aftermath after that.
fucking nuts, man. And I go back to you saying not wearing the proper uniform. Does that go back to like that wasn't her MOS? Like she was just
No, she was a water purification specialist.
right. So do I mean it's hindsight now, but did she ever really know what she was supposed to be properly wearing, or was it just told to go
I
fill a
think so. When I
generator? Or,
talked to her sister about it, she
yeah,
had talked to her sister about not having the proper attire, and she said that she told her NCOs about it. So
that sucks,
they
man.
were just like, "We're not the unit that's in charge. We're just doing this
Showing up to
duty
fucking
because we have to." And then sometimes she was in my A station. I didn't know if she was fueling the generator or not, but she would come in all the time and get the frozen water bottles, and because they last all day. And then I think she was fueling the generators in her PTs, but I don't know that for sure. But it's just wrong when you think. I mean, it's hindsight 2020
yeah. But
because you never think you're just fueling up a generator.
yeah, no, you're 100%, dude. Look, we take shortcuts that we shouldn't sometimes out of convenience. Like
Yeah,
it is what it is, and you hope nothing happens on that day. But yeah, I mean, there's so many fucking times I look back on and during my time in Iraq and just whether it was a generator, whether it was just I'm just walking down to the fucking DFAC. I'm not bringing everything this time. No one can like no one in my chain can see what And then you
yeah,
watch fucking rockets clip the top of a fucking building next to you. And you're like, well, that's
yeah,
fucking smart. Yeah, like
yeah,
I mean, there's so many times where it's just like the things you do out of convenience. I mean, just
yeah.
look at the shit men. Look what we do. Like, I gotta fucking piss. I'm not going outside because I'm just gonna piss in this fucking water bottle, which is probably a better idea than putting all your shit on just to walk. Like, I mean, we do
Piss,
shit.
piss bottles were a thing. Nobody talks about them, but piss bottles were definitely a thing.
It
And then
always will be a thing. I
you
got one
you
right
got
here if I need it. So I'm
you have 4 or 5 of them, under your bed. You're just waiting to throw them in the trash. So.
I feel bad because like I don't, as far as I know, I don't know if any females ever did that shit. I sure hope not. I don't know if they can pull it off, but like at least that's the thing we got.
Well, and some females had that snorkel thing that they could put down there, and it peed like a man. They were testing that out.
What's the funnel? The fucking funnel for the
Yeah,
water. Put that
the
in.
lady funnel. Yeah,
Um,
yeah. I don't have any firsthand experience with it,
yeah.
but I did see like a demonstration. So,
So I mean, obviously we're making light just because this is what the fuck we do, but you're evacuated after that. You're in the burn unit. She's in a burn unit. You tried it. Like, did you ever figure out like why the people within that hospital were just the way they like? I mean, I guess you probably didn't get, but like, you're trying to find answers. You're not getting anyone. No one's really paying you attention. Like, what causes people within those settings to be that way, do you think, man? Because that just reading that just infuriated me, to be honest. I'm like, what the fuck, man? Because I've
what,
been through so many times in a hospital with whether it's my parents or whatever. Like, there's always something where you're just like, that motherfucker doesn't give a shit.
well, what are you talking about specifically? You're talking about
When you were like
involving
trying
gender?
to get answers on her when she was in the hospital and you were in the hospital.
Oh, so I when I was in the hospital, I was out of it because I was on the morphine.
Wait,
But
this was for you. I'm sorry. This is for you. You're trying to get just like treatment and you're in line and you're just like, fuck it, let me
oh,
just.
that was in Germany.
Okay.
So I'm 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 in. I get to Germany. I get off the plane, and the medics are supposed to reevaluate you. And I'm waiting and I'm oozing because I got these burns. So
Yeah.
I'm starting to drip on the floor, and I'm just like, hey, if you give me some gauze and some silver night cream, I'll change my own shit. And she was just like, yeah, when I'll get to you when I get to you. And I was like, who's your NCOIC?
Okay.
And then
Wild to me,
so
man. That was
I went to the
uniformed?
NCOIC, and guess who the NCOIC was?
Her?
A friend of mine, Sergeant
Oh.
Moyer from fucking 22 Infantry. And I was like, dude, that Air Force chick? No. she's not handling this good. So just give me. He's like, I'll give you whatever you need, man. I'll give it to you. Holy shit, what happened? I told him the story and stuff, and I changed out my own dressings and stuff. And then I had a little bit of a "I fucking suck" chip on my shoulder.
Yeah.
But I know, I've been in her shoes. I should have just like been calm, but because you see it all day long,
Yeah.
and you have to take care of these people all day long, and there's always something new, and it's always like next guy, the next guy, the next girl guy, whatever, and it's just constant, and you get burned out, and you get like a little bit jaded, I guess.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, it happens. I don't blame them.
It
I
still
was
sucks.
irritated. I
Yeah,
was
no, it
irritated,
still
but
fucking
yeah.
sucks. Yeah.
Now, when I got to San Antonio, it was a different story. They were like, I got off the plane. They're like, you have to go get debrided. You have to take this morphine now for your debridement, and this is why we're doing it, so you don't get an infection and your skin grows back, and you're gonna have to wear these gloves and squish these balls. And I was like, yes, okay, I will do all that.
You know
And
the other
then
thing, you know what really bothered me about your book was the wounded warrior shit, like the barracks thing. Like no one was
the
there to,
barracks.
yeah, like no one helped you guys. Like no,
Now,
like this is such when I'm reading this, I'm like, this is such common sense, but it's so fucking army at the same time. Like, fuck
it,
them. They'll
it,
figure it
it
out.
really is. So when you get to launch stool and you have to get in these barracks, right? And then the bottom is full already.
Of course, no one wants
So
to go up fucking stairs.
so
And there's
I
no
can't carry
elevators in the barracks. It's like you got
I can't carry my bags because I have no arms.
there's no
So I've got this other dude that's got no legs carrying my bags. You know what I'm saying? We're trading off.
It's fucking nuts, man. Like
And
the
people trying to get up the steps in these crutches. It was, oh my God, dude, it was irritating as fuck.
it's so wild to me, man, because it's just like it's so fucking it's just so army.
And then they have an NCO.
Of course. Who just
It's
sits there
like
and
an
watches.
E5 in charge of everything down there. And she is busier than a one-legged man in an ass kicking contest. And she just doesn't give a fuck about anything because she's got so much on her plate.
Yeah. What was your experience like meeting her sister? How was that for you?
Man, I was nervous.
Hmm.
Um, but I prepared myself because I had watched a video with her talking about her sister. So I knew how she looked and I knew how she sounded and her mannerisms. And that made me a little less nervous for some reason. Anyway, me and Bradley and I went to Louisiana to see her grave.
Hmm.
And we said, like, he apologized and he said what he said. And he said stuff that he had to say to get off his chest. I said the same kind of stuff. And I pushed a patch down way down in the ground, like almost to the bottom of the stone. And I just said, I'm going to do this for you.
Here we go.
So then we go back, spend the night, and we drive all the way to San Antonio the next day to meet them at this PF Chang's in San Antonio.
Yep.
The old brigade surgeon, Major Isaacs, was there. He was a neonatal. I don't want to get it wrong. I think he did something with like neonatal care
Hmm.
or surgery or something like that. But he was there, and he was the guy. He was the brigade surgeon, the one that like took charge after everything got settled, and did some treatment on her on Marisol. And so it was Major Isaacs and Bradley Smith and Claudia and Shane, her husband. And I don't think she realized who I was until Lieutenant, well, Major retired Bradley Smith. So he just retired. He's a major. He
Nice.
retired as a major. Anyway, so I know him as Lieutenant Smith or Captain Smith. Um, told her who I was, and then as soon as she realized who I was, it's like we just kind of like grabbed each other's hands and held them. And she asked me to tell her my story, and I told her my story, and she told me her story. Her story is what lifted the weight off my shoulders because she was like so happy and so glad that she had those 3 months of life with her,
Yeah.
in San Antonio. And she was like ready for her to go home. They had bought a bed, like like a hospital type bed to take care of her. And she was ready to go home until she developed pneumonia. And when she developed pneumonia, she developed double pneumonia. And then that's what she passed away from.
Fucking crazy, man. That's
But hearing her say those things, because I just, in my mind, but without knowing, I just felt like she was constantly suffering until she died. You know, and then that went away because I heard the truth, and that lifted a bunch of that guilt. Because I always hear her say in my brain, I hear her say, "Just let me die,"
yeah.
and she didn't want to be saved until I changed her mind. So
But you're human, man. Like that's like it's the root of humanity is what you did. Like, A, let's go to Army value, selfless service, right? Like, fuck whatever's going on. I need to save this soldier. And like you said, like you're not dying here. We're not. This is not where we die. We ain't doing that shit here. Not today.
right,
Like that's fucking like that's why I go back all the way back to the beginning. Like some young man or some woman needs to read that story and know that like, hey, you can whatever shit that goes on in your life, you don't have to give into it, regardless of the outcome, good or bad. Like at your worst moment, we ain't going out today. Not today. And I think it's fucking it's an amazing story. It's living not just the army values, man, but that's just straight up NCO Creed shit. What you did was amazing, dude. Like it's and I don't know how many times you've already heard it, but just from someone else who hopes they never are in that position that you're in, like I would hope that I could do at least a tenth of what you did in that moment. Like I
you'd
really
be
like
surprised.
it's motivating as fuck is what you did, man. Because like I said, it goes back to just saying like we have some great people in this country still, and you're one of them. We're blessed to have you, brother.
I appreciate that.
Yep. And you've like your ceremony, like that's even great. Like I know you were just like I had no idea I was gonna get the soldier's medal, and I even my like as I was reading that, I'm like I wonder who put him in for that. Like, do you have any idea where that
So
came from?
the Captain Nesbitt,
Okay.
my squadron commander, put me in for it. My um, the sergeant major, everybody that was in 114 CAF put me in for the soldier's medal. And as I was leaving, they're saying we're putting you in for the soldier's medal. All right,
Right.
and I didn't think anything of it, because that award is like it's uncommon,
Yeah.
um, rare even um, to get.
Especially in a
And
combat zone, like you just like you described, like that.
yeah, because I've done some other stuff where I just got an AAM for like treating that
Exactly. Yeah.
fucking
Hey,
head
congrats.
wound guy. Anyway, so I wasn't thinking about it. And then I get to Fort Sam Houston, and I'm in bed, and the command the post the hospital commander and the hospital's sergeant major come in and present me with an award.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
They did it, and I was like, wow, this is so crazy fast, And I have both of them because I got two of them.
Nice.
So I have one. I have one on my wall. That's the first one I got, right?
Okay. Yeah.
But then I got the three-star general's coin and the sergeant major of the hospital's coin, and they did a little private ceremony in the hospital bed when I was like a mummy. And then I thought, the it's over with. I got a soldier's
Got it.
medal,
Yeah, I got it
yay,
now. Yeah, that's
you
it.
know. But then when I got to back to Fort Lewis, everybody was like, So the post commander is going to give you your soldier's medal. It's been approved. It's coming. I'm like, I, I got one.
Yeah, I don't
I
need
got
that.
one at the
I'm good.
hospital. They're like, no, no. Because no, this is different. This is going to be a garrison thing. The General Jacoby is going to give you the award. It's going to be big. The whole entire post is going to be there. I'm like, what?
Isn't it
Okay,
crazy how they just do all that shit without asking what you want? Isn't that crazy?
yeah. And then she died.
That's
You
funny.
know, and I feel like I didn't deserve that at all.
Yeah,
Like,
that doesn't change the action though, man. You know that. Like
yeah, I
that's
know, but I still felt that way.
yeah. No, I
You know,
I can only imagine. I actually I can't imagine what that must feel like. But I think you again telling the story, finding all the dudes that you found over the years, and then obviously now where we go into where you found your forge. Like, tell us what drew you to that. I know it was treatment for your PTSD, trying to pull yourself
right?
out of that, but what ultimately made you go to that?
So I secretly always loved knives to start off with. You
Not
know,
bad.
I was a big knife connoisseur. You
Yeah.
know, okay, PX has got a new knife. Oh, it's from Gerber. What is this? Oh, that looks cool. Looks badass. I would like my knives to look more like something that like you would see
Thor.
in like Mad Max or some shit.
Yes.
And so those two like ideologies mingled together, I guess. And my dad had made knives before,
Yeah.
and that my dad and the army's forcing you to be resourceful, kind of mingled together too. Me being an artist had a little bit to do in there,
Yeah,
so you got to throw
absolutely.
it in. You're
100%.
making a huge like rutabaga pie. You're just throwing all kinds of shit in there, and I would been watching Forged in Fire like on my own because you don't really see the fire. You kind of like hear of it,
Hmm.
and then you just see what they made, and you're like, "Oh, that's so cool! I could do that, I bet." And not right now because I don't like fire, that kind of shit. So
Yeah.
um, I go to Strong Star, and Strong Star has this immersive therapy or immersion therapy where you tell the story in detail over and over and over, and you record it on video and record it on your little handset, and you listen to it at night. So you're hearing the story, you're hearing the emotion and your tears, you're hearing that, and eventually you're able to tell the story without breaking down, and you can put it in your brain like a story on a bookshelf, in your brain. You're like, if I want to talk about it, I can just pull that book out
Yeah.
and read it to you, which is also gave me the idea to write the book. But that takes a long time.
Yeah.
Um, but the when I got homework to do, and they're like, just start a fire, controlled fire, like in the backyard, like you're gonna cook out.
Hmm.
That's all we want you to do. And I mean, I did that. It was hard. I stared at the flame, and the flame was talking to me. It was like, I'm gonna burn your ass. If I get out of control, there's nothing you can do about it. Ha ha ha. And I was just like, nah, fuck you, motherfucker. I,
I love
I
it.
ain't doing
I
that
love
shit.
that. I love that, man.
So then I was like, you know what? I bet I could, because I was just making like spikes and shit
Yeah.
with like rebar and railroad spikes.
Hmm.
Yeah, I was just fucking around because I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. The first, I would tell you right here, I have nobody knows about this, but my first time I did this, I was doing what I thought was supposed to happen, right? Because I watched a video, I watched a video about a guy quenching his blade, right? So what I did was I had this railroad spike, and I heated it up, and it was red hot, and I hit it a couple of times, and it was like, oh, I was like, oh shit, man, this is gonna take a lot. I have to get a bigger hammer. So I heat it up again, and I'm beating it. It's almost getting, it's like yellow hot, like almost white hot, and I'm smashing the shit out of it. It's starting to flatten out, and I put it, I quench it in the water, and I pull it back out. I stick it back in the fire to heat it back up so I could beat it again and quench it again. Like, oh, what a dumbass, right? But I didn't know. So
I don't know either.
I do the
I'm just listening. Like it sounds like the right thing to do. I guess that's not the right thing to do.
no,
No.
no, no. You quench once,
Okay.
and if you need to go back, you rework it, and then you can quench again. But you don't quench every time you pull the knife out and beat it.
Okay.
That's not how it works. So what happened was
Hey,
it just
lessons
became
learned.
brittle and it shattered on me.
Ah, okay.
And
Gotcha.
and then because it harder it is, I guess the metallurgy, the molecules are like so in line that you just hit and crack. But anyway, it shattered into a lot of pieces, and I was like, oh shit, what the fuck am I doing wrong? Did I watch the video wrong? What am I doing wrong? And then I was like watching it for like 3 minutes, and I was like, God damn, quench when you're done.
It's when you're done.
What? I mean, what? I don't even know why I was thinking that, but anyway,
Hey,
I
rookie
mean, I started
mistake.
doing it right.
Yeah, rookie mistake. So, what's because you do some crazy shit, man. Like, how did you how did you get to that? I mean, obviously practice and doing it over and over, but how did you get to the point where you're like the art is starting to come alive to you? Like you're seeing that, like,
So
oh, not only can I do this shit, but I'm pretty fucking good.
I, so once you forge the knife, as an artist, you can see what it could be. You can visualize it,
Right.
and I just make those visualizations come true. It don't always work. So, you make mistakes, but the way I do it, I can cover up those mistakes, right? As long as I forge the knife well.
Right.
And I use 5160 or 1095. I don't fuck with none of that other shit
What are those?
because
What is that?
like high intensity 440 steel stainless shit. I don't care about all that stuff.
Okay.
I stick with the construction grade and the automotive grade steels because they're durable and pliable. You can really work with them, and if you heat treat properly, that knife is going to last forever. So now I just finished this knife. If you want to see it,
Yeah, let's
uh,
see some shit, man. That'd be
one of
cool.
my buddy's probably going to be seeing. It's like, you need to hurry up and send me that fucking knife, dude. Yeah. So I made this. So this.
Little
Let me
Texas
see. Can you
action.
see?
Yeah, that's cool, man. Now
So
did
this
you
is a
do the case
clear.
too?
Yeah, I made the leather case.
That's awesome.
Then
Look at
it's
that. Eight. Look at that. That's cool. 1836.
yeah, I made this. These are pretty easy to make once you buy the brass and cut it up and
That's
fuck with
awesome,
it.
man.
But
Now,
this like this pattern right here, this is what I do no matter what.
yeah, I see that. That's definitely recognizable. How do you do that? What makes that?
So that's it's just like stipple. You know what stipple is?
Not a clue.
So in the art world, it's taking a ink pen and you're making little dots.
Okay. Impressionism.
Sometimes sometimes dots are way out there, it's kind of
Gotcha. Yeah.
soft, and
Okay.
sometimes they're really close together and it
Okay.
forms a line. And you can like draw
Yeah.
pictures,
Yeah.
huge pictures in stipple, and you're only using like dots. So everything's like millions and millions of dots.
Okay.
So I applied that to the knife making, which is almost like napping for a flint and flint napping. And it looks like flint napping, but it's a hand grinder stipple, and some people call it jimping. And I held it at a certain angle, and I'm looking at what I'm doing, and I'm just like touching it over and over and over until I get the layers I want, and then I go back over it and make sure that nothing's exposed and everything has a layer. And once you get that part done, you sand it down and you put in acid for 20 minutes, and then you bring it out with the baking soda and the water, and you clean it off, and put oil on it, 3-in-1 oil, and then hit it with that 1,000 grit sandpaper, and all the little details pop, and it just looks amazing. And I just love it. So that's how I make my knives.
How'd
And
you
then
learn
I do
all
my
that shit?
leather. I'm really getting good
Yeah.
at the
How'd
leather
you
part.
how'd you
This is
learn all this shit, man? I mean, I get it. You are an artist. You were always an artist at heart.
um,
So I'm sure that helps. But
so. I mean, of course, I watch YouTube videos.
yeah, YouTube's great, right?
Um,
What are we
but I
gonna
get
do
the
when
idea.
all the internet's gone, though, man? Like, how we gonna
I
learn?
get the ideas from. So my dad was a leather guy
Yeah.
too. He made leather sheets
Okay.
for. He actually gave me his leather kit from 1972. It's got a
I bet
old
that's
like cowboy on the front,
yeah, that's got to be
and it has all the tools already. So I just, it's just like an artist discovering a new medium, and he
yeah,
just fuck with it.
that's cool, man. How long? How many years have you been doing the knives?
Since 2015.
Okay, so now you're expert now, man. You're the master. Are you training anybody? You got to make this expand at all?
No,
Just sticking
I
to
don't
using
feel
knives.
like I don't feel like I'm a master, but I can instruct.
Okay. Well, we know you can
I can
instruct.
instruct you how to do what I do.
Yeah, I was gonna say like you've got the instructor background. 10
I
years in
have
on something, man. You got your masters for sure, whether you want to call yourself one or not.
I have a pseudo nephew that he's my next door neighbor to my dad,
Okay.
and he's 21. He's a good kid. He's got some difficulties, but I work with him. He works his ass off at Texagon, and everybody just loves him. And I mean, I love him too. And one day I will teach him that trade. Um,
That's cool,
my
man.
grandchildren. I don't know about my 6-year-old, but my 2-year-old
You've got
is one.
grandkids, bro?
Oh, dude, I got yeah,
Awesome. That's great. That's great,
yeah.
man. How many you got?
Well, I technically I have 4, but I only get to see 2.
Okay. And they're not training them yet on how to make knives.
No, but my youngest, I think is she's going to be the most pliable.
Good term. Good term.
She's gonna because she loves Papa, and Papa loves her,
There you go. That's
and
all you
I'm gonna
need.
teach her everything. I'm gonna teach her everything I know. I'll teach you. I'm gonna teach Ella how to do it too. But I think that Rowan, my youngest, is going to absorb it.
Yeah, be the one. Do you know how many
I have a
knives
video of her. She's the most Texas thing I've seen in a while. She has these cowboy boots, and I put her hair in a ponytail. I watch them 2 times a week, and she's just cutest thing ever.
That's great, man. That's awesome. How many knives have you made? Do you know?
Yeah, I haven't counted. I don't know. I'd have to count. There's pictures. I get I get to go back and count all the pictures.
I was gonna say you still got a new version of your book where you carry it around with all the knives and shit you've made.
No, because I'm updating my website
Website's not
with
the same, man. You know that. That's like all my shit's on the web as well, but that's not the I love you book. You know, it's not the same where you can feel it and just here, open this shit up. Look at
yeah.
these.
I'm gonna print some pictures out and keep it in like a little
Yeah.
book. I guess when I do my book signing, I want to have that um,
Yeah.
out so people can see it too.
When's the book signing? When are you doing that?
Well, my publicist says that we're supposed to do it between now and Christmas.
Okay, that's coming. That's soon.
So, and I already have the location. So,
Where's that? Can you share? Can you share the location?
so Golden's bookstore.
Okay.
I've been going to Golden's bookstore since like 1983, buying comic books and getting into sci-fi
And
and
now you got your
Star
book.
Wars nerd and Star Trek and Marvel and DC, the Punisher, Batman, all that shit. I was into it, and I would just go. And I was really a big fan of GI Combat.
GI Con.
Um, it's a magazine. So I collected comic books and
Yep, my brother did. It must be an
toys
artist
and
thing.
shit like
So
that. Yeah, it's an artist thing because
absolutely.
when I was younger, I would draw things. Like I was big into Master of Kung Fu, which is a Marvel
Mhm.
hero, and the lady Donna Golden would like put him on the wall. And I felt like she must really like my artwork. And she's putting it on the wall, you know. And I saw her today, and I gave her
Yeah.
a copy of the book, and
Oh
I
shit.
talked to her about it because she does estate sales, and my buddy was like, "Hey man, they got some McFarlane Monster toys at
Oh
this
shit.
estate sale,"
You
and
want
I was like,
Spawn?
"Oh shit, which one they got?" And I was like, "He's like they got Dracula and the Hunchback," and I was like, "Yeah." I said, "I'll take those two." So I went, I met him, and it's Series One, Hunchback, Series One, Dracula. Um, they're really cool, early
That's
1990s
awesome. That's
toys.
great, man. Yeah, no, I remember
Um,
Spawn, good old Todd McFarlane. Spawn, what was that, 93? Was that the first year Spawn came out?
yeah, I think so.
Yeah, well, my brother and I, we
Um,
had Spawn. That was like Spawn was like the big deal because it was like the first new hero,
what's
if
the
you wanted
first
to call it.
badass
Yeah.
superhero,
But it
like
was like the first new
anti-hero?
one, right? Like everything else had been
Yeah,
around for the 60s, 70s. They just been around forever. And then Todd McFarlane created Spawn. It was like, oh shit, that's cool.
yeah, he just didn't give a fuck.
Yeah. Yeah. I was a big Silver Surfer guy growing up. Silver Surfer was my jam. I had a few of those early editions. I don't know where they are now. I think my brother might have jacked them, but I don't know. Then remember what was the other one that came out?
Kirby was the Kirby Silver Surfer,
I
the
think
Jack Kirby, or whatever his name is,
yeah, because I know for a fact I
the
had
guy that did Thor and all that.
yeah, I had number six for sure. Like first edition number six. I had that. But what was that those guys that came out? Was it X-Force? They were also new, like in the 90s. X-Force, it was like
Yeah,
Colossus.
X Force.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, X4. Because they were that was
Young
another fun.
Blood.
Yeah, that was another one that was fun. It was
Yeah,
new, these are brand new characters, and everyone's like, "Oh shit, these are awesome." Yeah, I remember
yeah,
X-Force. Yeah, X-Force was cool.
yeah. Cable and
Cable. Yeah.
well, Cable was a big one. I was a Punisher fan, so
I didn't get into Punisher like the comics, but I loved the fucking show. Because I thought the dude that played Punisher on like the Netflix one, the
oh,
recent one,
Earthnoff, yeah,
that dude's
he
awesome. Like they
he
need
was
to
born
bring
to
that
play.
back. Yeah, they need to
He was
bring
born
that
to play
back.
Punisher.
I can't believe they
Yeah,
only two seasons. That was it. Like, come on, man. Like, this is the greatest. This
yeah.
dude's awesome. And he was perfect. Like you said, that dude was just, he was perfect. I'm gonna
That
have
dude was. Yeah. So I don't know what they somebody said they canceled the his part into the second season of Daredevil, but or they're supposed to come into the Marvel universe and they're going to introduce Punisher and like what he was doing during the flip or whatever.
oh,
Um, the
interesting.
blip, the blip.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Oh,
Anyway,
yeah, that'd be interesting.
I have a lot of Punisher stuff,
That's cool, man.
and I mean I stopped collecting a long time ago, but the stuff that I have, you can't find anymore
Yeah.
unless you're like really searching eBay for it.
Yep.
Like the first pressings of graphic novels,
Hmm.
yeah, and like all the comic books from number one through. I've stopped collecting, so I don't know what number they're on now. But
Right.
and then the War Journal and all the different spin-offs, man, I am on that. Loved it.
All right, man. Again, thanks for coming in and hanging out. We got the book again right there from Fire to Forge. A walk through the flames with Larry Teakell. Pick up
Walk through
the
the
book.
fame.
Yep. Walk through the flames. It's on Amazon. Anywhere else they can get it? Is it Amazon's the main spot?
Yeah, Amazon's the main spot.
Amazon's the main.
Unless like during the book signing, I will do like a book signing and patch giveaway.
That's cool. All right. So the book
You
signing,
have a
be on the
patch, don't
lookout
you?
for that. I do. I do have the patch. I got the
Yeah.
patch. I got the shirt. I was gonna wear
Oh
that.
yeah, you
I
do.
think I wore it the last time you were on, but I do have the shirt. I still got that. I work out in that one all the time. So all right, that's Larry Teakell. You can find him as well on X, Twitter, whatever. It's at Junkyard Tactic. And then Junkyard Tactical is the website.
Yes. Junkyardtactical.com and then on Instagram. Um, or Texageddon.
Yeah, Texageddon as well, October 16th to the 19th this year. Look, you got mugs.
I'm both. I am Texageddon and
He
I
is
am
Texageddon.
Junkyard Tactical.
Yeah.
So,
Last thing, that was a good question. How does someone go about getting a knife from you, and how long does that take usually?
So that's a good question because there's a lot of people out there that have been waiting for me to finish their project, and I apologize to them. And
Yeah.
because this guy's been waiting a long time for this,
And I've seen it before him, so I appreciate that.
but
We've seen
he has a tomahawk that goes with it that matches, and it's in the garage.
nice.
Um, but yeah, so it takes anywhere from like 3 or 4 days to a year. It
Three or four
depends on
days to a year.
how much how much I have on my plate at the time.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, because
That's cool, man.
I don't just
Backlog's
make shit
good.
out of
Backlog's
shit.
good. That means you got shit to
I
do.
Yeah, I have to find the right piece of
Right.
steel first of all, and then it's got to be the right size, and then it's got to be if it doesn't work, like I'll make a knife and be like, oh, I made this in 3 days, and then I go to like test it, and it's not going to work. So I got to redo the whole thing.
Gotcha.
Um, that's the one of the issues with doing it like I do, making shit out of junk, because
Yeah.
sometimes you get junk,
Yeah.
and you don't want junk. You want functional art, and that's what I kind of focus on. So
That's cool, brother.
it's going to look cool, but
It'll take a while.
the basis of it is a knife that will last forever,
That's awesome.
unless you like melt it down or some shit. But
Yeah, it's probably pretty rare if someone does
yeah,
that. All right, dude, man. Best of luck with the book and the book signing coming up. And again, you need a knife, Junkyard Tactic. Junkyard
well,
Tactic.
it's
Junkyard
junkyard
Tactic on
tactical.
X,
Yeah,
junkyardtactical.com. That's the website. Go to Larry Teakell, get some knives, get all your junkyard tactical goods. There you go, man. All right, brother.
yeah.
Thanks.
All right, man. We'll see you later.